Well, let me just bring him up properly. As the co-founder and head and lead guitarist, I can't read anymore. You want to read it?
Sure.
As the co-founder and lead guitarist for the mega hit band 6 a.m. of Sweetwater.
I own Sweetwater.
He just bought it 16 minutes ago.
Yeah, for $16.
Wow. Well, he's also the lead guitarist for Guns N' Roses. He's toured the world with Axl Rose several times over. Well, he did here.
Must be true.
From Taiwan to Australia. This is the cool part. Not
Taiwan to Australia. That's a big name.
I know.
I've been Ohio to New York.
That is farther, I think. I know if you drive, it's farther. Not one to rest on his laurels. Listen to this. He also leads the creative agency Ashba Media, which designs and fabricates displays, wardrobe, and signage for clientele from Cirque du Soleil to Virgin Megastores. No. And in his spare time, he...
I cracked their grammar.
Anyway, please welcome DJ Ashba.
Thank you guys so much. I have no idea why I'm here, really. I'm just happy to be here. I've never done anything like this, but I'll be happy to take this opportunity to answer any questions you might have or anything you want to talk about. Just throw your hand up and let's figure this shit out. Yes, you.
Did you used to work at Dave's Supermarket in Fairbury?
Yes, I did.
Brian says, hey.
Oh, tell Brian hi. And guess what? They fired me because I had long hair and I was scaring all the old ladies. That's what they said. Yeah, I love Dave's though. That place rules. Every time I go home, straight to Dave's. Hi. My sister's here. Yeah, Tina and Tony. Hi. So yeah, I don't know how many of you know my story, but fuck the bubble. Who said that? I bought my first guitar out of a Sears catalog. I started detasseling corn, detasseled all summer long, and saved up money. I bought a guitar out, I think it was a Harmony White Flame V, and it was like 120 bucks, whatever. But I used to go ride this bus to school, or to the cornfields, and my buddy, I didn't know how to play guitar, but he would take a pocket knife and carve like a little fretboard on the back of a seat, and he'd poke 3 holes in it, and he goes, that's an A chord, go home and learn it. And that's how I learned my, my basic chords, and from there on I just fell in love with music. And my first concert was, my dad took me to see Motley Crue. Yeah. Have you heard of them? And that night, I remember, changed my life. And I never really had that starstruck bone in my body to where, you know, I'd meet famous people and be like, whoa. But that night changed my life because I saw them doing it on stage. And I'm from a very religious family. I grew up without like TVs and stuff. So my only kind of, I guess, insight to rock and roll was when I'd go to my neighbor's house and watch MTV, or my mom was real into Elvis, so thank God because of that I was introduced to, you know, rock and roll, I guess, that way. But, you know, seeing them on stage that night kind of changed my life because my dream was no longer a dream. It was a touchable thing that you know, it's like there are people doing it on that stage. I know what I'm going to do for a living now. I just didn't know to what extent. I didn't know I'd have to play with him for the rest of my life. But no, Nicky is one of the coolest people I've ever met. He's my big brother, but he taught me a lot about the music industry and how important it is to learn the business side. You know, study the business side as much as you study your instrument, and create little buckets and stuff. And I'm rambling, so I'll take questions because I don't know why I'm here again. But you know, I will play some stuff here in a minute. But you know, being a part of Sweetwater is a big deal to me because I really respect what they're doing for musicians all across, you know, the U.S. and stuff. So, you know, Let's hear it for Sweetwater. Anybody need groceries taken out to their car? Because I'm good at that. Okay, go ahead. Sure, yeah. So anyway, I'll stop rambling, but if you guys have any questions, I can answer them. Yes, Tony?
You know, how to play guitar, how did you actually get into the business? I mean, we're Fairbury, you live in his house, how did you go from there?
Right.
You know, where do you stick your foot in the water?
Right. Basically, it took a lot of, courage. You know, I packed up all my stuff in my little minivan and just decided to do it. And I never thought it was that hard to make it in anything you want to do in life. You just have to, set your goals, and you can have anything in life if you want it bad enough. You just have to be willing to work as hard as it takes to get it. So the guy driving the Ferrari is no more lucky than you are. He just had a goal, he set his mind on it, and you know what I mean? Like anybody can, in my opinion, anybody can have and achieve whatever they want in life as long as they're willing to put in that work, so, yeah.
Did you even see me?
Hi. Yes, I see you. Hi.
Well, was it hiding in a garage, making a band, or was it a contest, or was it chasing down?
No, a lot of it is just, being in the right place at the right time, but it does no good to be in the right place at the right time if you aren't prepared, if you haven't done your homework, if you don't have the right demos, if you don't have the right songs, So I could put you right now at the signing table at Warner Brothers, but if you don't have the right goods, it's really a lot of hard work, and you got to put in a lot of hard work on your own time, and you've got to believe in yourself. Everybody and their mom is going to tell you you can't do that. You'll hear more reasons why you're going to fail and you can't do it than why you should go after your dreams and do it. So you kind of got to block all that out and just believe in yourself, and don't lose focus on that, and really work hard. That it takes a lot of hard work. So.
What was your first band?
Oh, there you are. My first band, it was called Rat's Nest. It's pretty awesome, with a Z, and we painted a bridge somewhere in Illinois, and almost got arrested. And then I moved to Indiana, and I was in a band called Restless, I think it was called. And then eventually, when I had met a buddy of mine, he played in this cool rock band called Barracuda in Chicago, and his name was Vince Aqua. And their band, I think they had like one song on MTV at the time, and they had moved to LA. He was the only guy I knew in LA, and I kept telling him, one day I'm gonna move there one day, and I just had it set in my mind, when I'm 20 years old, I'm gonna move there, because I thought I needed to be 21 to play bars and things like that, so I didn't want to get to LA and not be able to play a club or whatever. So I flew him in, and we both drove my little beat-up minivan out to LA, and I joined their cover band, and basically that's how I got my start. I just played everywhere, anywhere I could, and just tried to start making a name for myself. That's kind of how I, met this person, met that person, kept writing, and was actually doing construction because I used to build houses back home, and just trying to survive in LA, and I was demoing up these, demos. That's all I was obsessed with writing songs and demoing, and so I had a little Porta-One, Tascam Porta-One, and a little 4-track, and this is before the internet or cell phones. That shows how old I am. And I was just playing them to my boss, and the guy we were building for happened to own a really small record label, and he overheard the demos and was blown away and signed me, and that's when Addiction to Friction was released. So, yes?
What state?
Illinois.
Illinois?
Yeah, I was born in Monticello, Indiana, and then moved to Illinois when I was really young. Oh, nice. I forget I'm in Indiana right now. It's so crazy, It's like, wow, this is like hometown almost. So, yes?
For a young guitar player
Yeah, I'm like I said, you know, never give up. You know, put in every waking hour you can into honing that skill, because there are a lot of great players out there. But be the best you can be, and don't be scourged by there's a lot of players out there. You know, I heard that my whole life. Like, what makes you think you're going to go out to LA and be any different than millions of guitar players? And what makes you different is you. There's only one of you, you know, and you go out there, you put your heart, if you believe in what you're doing, everybody else will. You know, so if you stay true to yourself and you keep practice your guitar player, practice guitar, but also practice songwriting. I couldn't express that enough. Like, it all comes down to a great song. And it doesn't mean you have to come up with crazy guitar riffs, but a great melody. People are gonna walk away. You know, I always lived by, you can shred as fast as you can, and 90% of that will go over the crowd's head. You know, there'll be a couple like real guitar geeky, you know, people that'll be like, whoa, that was cool. But the average audience listener that buys albums or listens to music, it'll go right over their head. But you hit one note with everything in your heart, and it'll turn every head in the room. So, you know, I kind of always gone by that. So to me, melody, when I'm writing guitar solos for whoever, for Sixx AM, it's always been about writing the melodies, writing something that people can sing when they leave, you know. It's kind of, I always looked at it like, this is when the singer hands you the song, hands you the storyline. Now what are you gonna do with it? You gotta take that audience on a journey and bring them back around and hand it back off to the, you know, singer or finish a story. But your solos, if you're writing solos, they should go somewhere, they should make a point, they should touch people, you know. So, you know, I would say always write for the song, you know, don't, as a guitar player, it's easy to, oh, this is my chance to show off and shine and go crazy, but, you know, you're gonna go further in life if you write for the song, because it's going to make that song as a whole a masterpiece, and that's your goal as a team. You're basically a basketball team. You know, a band is like 4 or 5 guys, like a marriage, and everybody brings something to the table. You know, an ingredient that makes that final stew. You know, so you don't want to be the one guy that throws in a spoiled egg. You know, if that makes sense. Probably not. Let's see, what time is it right now? I don't even know. Do I have time? Okay.
You got time.
We had sorry we were late. We had a lot of trouble. I flew in, I left Vegas at 3 in the morning. So it's been a long day for us, but we got here and we got some gear pieced together, and hopefully, you know, you'll be able to hear this. But I'll play something real quick if you guys want to hear something. What? Any more questions real quick before I move on? Yeah.
First off, I'm just a huge fan of 6 AM.
Oh, thank you.
I just want to know if you can talk about the songwriting process, specifically with lyricism and storytelling for your music.
Yeah, for 6 AM or for everything in general. Yeah, I mean, that's you know, it all comes down to, I mean, I feel the best songs come from experiences, life experiences and things you've been through, because, you know, if you're singing about, you know, strip bars and chicks and blah, 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 but you've never been with a chick and you've never been to a strip bar, it's kind of, you know, it's like, it's kind of hard to sell that story. So, you know, like when we wrote the Heroin Diaries, it's you know, it's we could have never done that had we not all had really bad experiences with drugs in our life, and we overcame that, and we've been through some heavy stuff. So to us, we lived it. So, you know, if you're true, it goes back to what I was saying to you, if you're true to yourself, you gotta believe in what you're doing, but it has to be real. It can't be just some fake lyric that means nothing to you inside. So, you know, you can't really write a song about love if you've never been in love, and you can't really, you know what I mean? So, you know, I would say that's the biggest thing, is just really reach deep into your life experiences, and or if something inspires you, you know, you might be watching the news and see somebody, getting arrested, or somebody helping a homeless person, or whatever touches you, and whatever inspires you to pick up a guitar, drums, or a pad and a pencil and start writing. You know what I mean? But as long as you stay true to yourself, it's going to come across in the music. So, yep.
I know you played plenty of guitars in your career. But what's your favorite?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I've been that guy that has, experimented with so many different guitars. I played Ernie Balls for years, and I liked them and the way they felt, and I liked the necks, and but I always recorded with Les Pauls, but I never liked Les Pauls, to be honest, because every time I got a Les Paul, I would sit with my guitar tech and I'd be like, sanding down necks and changing things. We would gut them and throw all the stuff in the trash and put new pickups in and rewire them, and really they became a Frankenstein project, every single guitar. And after Gibson saw that I was basically destroying all their guitars that they were sending me, they gave me an opportunity to finally build a guitar that fit me, and I couldn't be more happy. We spent 2 years building, in my opinion, what is, for me, the ultimate Gibson Les Paul. And the first thing we did, the first problem I had is Gibson's always, on the G strings, because they have kind of a radius neck, they would fret out a lot, and that always bothered me. On records, it's cool because you can stop the record, retune, and it's a process. But I wanted a guitar that you could beat the shit out of on stage, and the guitars that I was altering they could handle a beating on stage for 3-hour shows and things like that. So we really went through, and what I did is I came up with the first compound radius neck, and what that does is, it has the curve like all Gibsons do right here, but by the time it gets to the 12th fret, it flattens out, and it becomes more like my old Ernie Ball necks, so it basically slightly, if that makes sense. So when you bend up, there's no more fretting out. You do most of your huge bends, from the 12th on up, or, whatever. So, Gibson spent a lot of money, coming up with the machine. I think it was like $1 million investment just to make the necks on these guitars, but they're awesome, and they don't have a guitar like that. So, and then the next thing I did is I always hated 2 volume knobs on my guitars. I'm just a retard, I guess. It's like when I'm on stage, the last thing I want to know is, okay, what pickup am I on? What is this half on? It's just give me one knob on and off, and that's, for me, that's what works. And of course, I was always used to the pickup switch down here on the Ernie Ball, so I moved, the pickup switch down here, 1 volume, 2 tones, and put Seymour Duncan's in, the Jeff Beck in the back, and the Alnico 2 Pro in the front, and then we put a kill switch just for fun. For songs like Stars, so.
Can you show us how that looks?
Yeah. So,
We can hear it.
too loud or not, but basically what a kill switch does is basically kills the signal as you go, and so you can do little fun, happy things along the way. And I'll show you some examples. So what I've done, again, bear with me, I didn't really know what to do. I got a call to do this, and I really wanted to be a part of it because, of Gibson and Sweetwater and everything they're doing. And so I'm honored to be here, and I can't believe, I was like backstage, I go, is anybody even here? And they're like, yeah, people showed up. I was like, oh, this is crazy because I just got off a plane and I'm half sleeping. And so thank you all for taking the time and being patient while we got our gear working up here, but thank you. And real quick, so what I did real quick, I'm gonna play, I just put 10 songs of 6 a.m. I'm gonna just play all the solo sections, one through the next, of 10 6 a.m. songs. So these are some of the solos I wrote. This will give you kind of a good example of what I mean by using shredding sparingly and, really focusing on, carrying the solo sections with melodies and stuff. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. Yeah, one more quick.
Are these any
Not yet. I have some in my computer if you don't steal it. But yeah, the new album's going great. We're excited about that. So I know. So hopefully the blend out there is okay for you guys, and I hope you enjoy this.
We'll be right back.
Thank you guys so much. So I wasn't that prepared, but anyway, I just wanted to run you through some of the solos I've written in my life, and for whatever reason, hope you enjoyed that. Any last minute questions before I go catch my plane home? Yes.
So at the beginning of Stars, during that intro, is that some sort of filter effect?
Yeah, what I'm doing on that is I actually, in the studio, I used a razor blade and I scraped the strings backwards, and I used a Digitech, really bad at this. It's called an envelope filter pedal. And I actually did it years back in Beautiful Creatures, one of my other bands, with a song called 1 AM. So it's one of those things where I kind of brought back some of the tricks I was doing back in Beautiful Creatures. I wanted to kind of bring into 6 AM. So, yep.
Maybe it's just me, but I was surprised to see it like sitting down.
Yeah, I mean, right, you know what's cool is I forgot my guitar strap. I swear to God. I know, but yeah, it's weird. I at home in the studio, I always sit down and play every record. Like usually when I'm recording on records, I usually sit down because it's just more comfy. But I thought, no, I don't need a strap. So I just packed up what I could and came out. Just wanted to sit down and meet all you guys and say hi and jam a little bit for you. So, yep.
Not a question. Just wanted to say thank you for the eargasm.
Could you hear it okay? Was the levels okay? I was having a little bit of a trouble hearing the amp, but I'm glad it came out okay. Yep.
Not a question here, but I don't know if you have contact with Richard Forrest anymore.
Yeah.
I talked to him through Facebook messages and met him after I listened to the concert, and he agreed to.
Oh, I love him. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you. Yep. Yeah, sure. I mean, when I got the Guns N' Roses gig, obviously, you have to do that. You got to try to do whatever in your power to do those songs justice because they're so classic. So with me, I didn't want to go in and try to reinvent the wheel. I wanted to literally stay as true to what Slash did as I possibly could because that's what I would want to see if I saw somebody on stage doing that. So I literally, we brought in, I can't even tell you how many guitar rigs we went through, like from big to small to, Marshall was sending over head after head, and Eddie Van Halen sent me, like 10 cabinets and a bunch of heads to try out, and a bunch of my friends were sending me stuff, and I was like, I just wanted to really stay as true to that sound as I possibly could. With 6 AM, it's me, so I can do kind of whatever I want, which is great. But I have found, I've found the fractals are really great out there. The, Axe Effects, the fractal units. They kind of just do everything I needed them to do. And then recently, because I have two separate rigs. I have one for GNR, one for 6 AM, and they're completely different. Different tones, different effects, and so with that, I stumbled upon lately a Kemper amp where I could actually clone my amp sound. So that's kind of what I'm switching my whole rig over to right now. We're in the studio just cloning every tone I've come up with for the GNR world and the 6 AM world, so I can have everything in one amp. That makes it easier. So, yep.
This doesn't have to do with guitars or anything, but as a touring artist, I work at a venue now. I work in production. What are your pet peeves?
What's that?
What are your pet peeves when you come to a venue?
I don't know. I'm pretty easy when it comes to that stuff. I'm not. I'll never be the guy who's like, no, you got to separate the green M&Ms from the red ones. Just not my thing. But I don't know. I don't really have it.
Memorable venues that you went to, like something that made it extra special?
Not really, because we travel with pretty much I'm real low maintenance when it comes down to that. Trust me on that. Like, I really, you know, I have everything I need, you know, before I even get to the venue. So, yeah, yep. Oh God, here we go.
Stars about,
Stars.
yeah.
It's just, you know, when we wrote Stars, it was one of those songs where, you know, we were all three just inspired by, you know, we wanted to write a song that gave people hope and inspired people. And much like, you know, Life is Beautiful, they all have very dark, twisted meanings to them, but, you know, you can see the hope and light in the 6 a.m. songs. And that's what's so fun about what we do with 6 a.m. is, and that's what I'm the most proud about is writing songs such as Stars and Life is Beautiful and all the other ones we've done. You know, I'm proud when I lay my head on the pillow at night because, you know, we're donating $250,000 to this charity or helping kids get off the street. And, you know, and if you can do that through music, you know, it's just, it's a blessing. So it's awesome to be able to work on stuff like that. So, yeah, yep.
For you personally, which 6 a.m. song really touches you the most?
Oh, God. I'm a writer on, you know, so I don't know. I mean, it's hard, you know, they're all our little creations and we've all put, you know, like what I was telling you, you know, when you write songs, you're giving literally a piece of you, you know, you're kind of, if you're doing it right, you're really putting your soul on a silver platter for people to judge or whatever they're going to do. But I could never pick a favorite. You know, I absolutely, you know, this last tour, Modern Vintage Tour, was the first time I actually got to play these songs in 6 years live. And it really, you know, I came off that tour finding a new love for music, you know, because you kind of get, you know, lost. It's like you kind of get uninspired. But, you know, when we had to really learn an entire set, it's like, wow, we've written some cool stuff, you know. And it was very inspiring to go back and relearn all the stuff we'd written and get out there and play them and see the fan reaction was just so incredible. It was like, yeah.
It was awesome. The whole like final song being Stars and then
Yep.
having Stars come
Yeah.
out. That was an experience on its own.
That's so awesome.
So, you know, singing that, just helping, donating money, you'll be more than happy.
Thank you. Thank you. And my experience standing on stage was exactly like that. Like it was just this incredible connection with our audience, with the fans who really get what we're doing. And you know, I mean, 6 a.m. fans, I swear to God, are the coolest fans you could ever pray to have, just because they really get what we're doing and they really feel what we're writing about, and that's powerful. So. Yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, when, you know, like right now, you know, we're really good at pushing each other, like, you know, to be the best. Like Nikki will come up with something. We literally write our albums in a little circle on the floor. Like we get notepads out, acoustic guitars. It's not like what you think. We don't go and rent out a big, huge place and, you know, crank up the amps and stuff. We literally, I think I've written most of the songs on an acoustic guitar, just sitting on the floor. And, you know, because to me as a songwriter, and this is important, maybe good advice, maybe for you, the guitar part is literally the last thing I worry about, being a guitar player, when I'm writing a song. Unless you come up with a crazy cool riff like Life is Beautiful, you know, that riff kind of inspired where we went. Unless it's a riff that kind of starts the creative writing process for that song. If you break any song down, it's usually 3-4 chord songs, and it all comes down to that melody you're gonna put over top. What melody? So I'll be the first as a guitar player to go, you know what, this song doesn't need a guitar solo, or let's change these chords so your melody can go there, because it needs to be there to be magical, you know. It's like, but you get some guitar players that are so bullheaded, they're like, I'm not changing my part, I don't care, sing something different. And so it's all about, in my opinion, the lyrical message and the melody you're delivering vocally. And then, you know, after the nuts and bolts are there, I will go in and really write hopefully a magical guitar piece around those, you know, the chord structure of the song. And maybe that's a backwards way of doing it, but that's how I've always done it. I've always made sure the melody was there, because in my opinion, every hit song, if you strip away the amps and drums and stuff, you should be able to strum it on an acoustic and it'll still be a hit song. So, if that's any good advice or not. But that's how we do it anyway.
Don't change the process.
Yeah, no, and that's another thing, we won't, and we don't. We know what we have is, there's an incredible chemistry and we got our way of doing things, and hopefully people keep loving the record. So.
Can I ask one more?
Yeah.
If you went to Nikki and James and said, well, fuck, you changed your singing, I'm not changing my part, what would they say to you?
You know, the thing about us is we're, you know, it's in our mindset, we try everything, even if it's a bad idea. You know, we literally, we throw out ideas nonstop. What about this, what about that, and blah, 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 you know. But the cool thing is nobody shuts anybody's ideas down. We'll laugh our asses off after they don't work. We're like, God, you're an idiot. That was so stupid. But, and we you know, we give each other a really hard time, but we're best friends, and we have a blast. Yeah, and we literally, it's the same way off stage, and we literally enjoy being around each other and enjoying each other's company, so it's good. Yeah.
First thing, I just wanted to say you're a great guitarist.
Oh, thank you.
I really understand what you mean by the writing of the melody.
Yeah. You could, maybe you could tell, like, it's, I just have a weird way of playing and maybe even thinking, and I'm not saying my way is the right way, but it works for me, and that's you know, that's what I do, and that's kind of what I grabbed in the pieces of watching this guitar player, watching that guy, and you know, the parts that really touched me were the melodies. You could walk away and the hairs on my, you know, arms would stand up and just be like, wow. You know, I mean, look at Sweet Child. It's the simplest solo in the world, but it's memorable. It's you know, even the intro is so simple. You watch people on YouTube playing it, they're 13 years old, do 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 do. And it's a very easy part, but it's the notes that he chose that follow each other that just makes it what it is, and it's just a, you know, classic little piece. So that's kind of a great example of what I'm talking about, I guess.
And I wanted to ask, so say a young guitar player was to move out to LA and didn't know anyone, how would they go about starting a band and trying to get signed, trying to get
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I only knew one guy, and I guess that's it. But the thing I didn't have at the time is the internet. You have the internet, so it's real easy to go on the internet nowadays, even as a guitar player, learning parts. We didn't have, you know, where I want to learn that Eddie part, and you have 15 people breaking it down and showing you. We didn't have that, so we literally had to put the needle on the record and crap, rewind, you know, and it was. Yeah, right. Yeah. So it was a much different process for me as it will be for you, and thank God for the internet. You have everything. You literally have the world in your lap, you know. So take full advantage of that. You know, all you got to do is hit Google. There's people out there looking to start bands. There's, you know, look around the Hollywood area. I mean, they're out there for sure. They're, you know, go on YouTube. There's a bazillion kids that are incredibly talented, unbelievable players out there. So, you know, I would start there probably and use the internet to your advantage. Demo up songs, sing songs. If you're a singer, guitar player, you know, put your songs up on YouTube. You know, get noticed that way, because again, I wish we would have had that, you know, growing up, because what a great outlet that is. You really don't even need a record label anymore. You could almost, you know, you can put out the music you want to put out without some A&R guy telling you, no, you got to switch that. It's like, you know, there it is. This is what I'm about. Go to my channel, check it out. And you never know what'll happen. Maybe somebody will contact you, you know. So, you know, I would definitely use that to your advantage and start there for sure. Yep.
You look ahead much like 5 years, 10 years.
Yes.
I remember
Yeah.
exactly where I was standing when I heard Sweet Child of Mine.
Yeah.
Like your ears kind of stayed.
Oh, yeah.
Something happened to your chest.
Yeah.
So you look at this, like where you 10 years from now,
It's so fast, yeah. Yeah, the things I'm working on right now, I know won't see the light of day for 3 years. You know, so I'm constantly, I always work about 3 years ahead, you know, and like, for instance, the record we're working on now, you know, it won't be 3 years, but I'm doing other things that nobody knows about that will come out, you know. So I think that's really important is always planning ahead, trying, you know, the thing that's exciting about life is you can't predict what's around the corner, but that's what's so fun about it. But, you know, you can control it to a certain point, you know, and you can control your destiny as long as you stay focused on the things you want to happen in 3 years from now. You know, you work on them today, and so 3 years from now, you know, yep. Yeah.
Okay, so I seen this video how you said you never thought you would play with Guns N' Roses.
Mhm.
How did you even get started with them? Like, how did you do
Yeah, well, I mean, 6 a.m. actually happened as an accident. You know, Nicky invited me out to his house, and we wrote 4 songs, you know, that day, and he goes, hey, you know, I was about ready to sign a record deal with Atlantic Records with me and the guitar player from Puddle of Mud, and I turned that record deal down to go out and team up with Nicky as a songwriting partner. And we started writing tons of songs, and blah, 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 you probably know the story. Those songs ended up being, you know, most of the songs on the Heroin Diaries. And you know, we originally just wanted to bring his diaries together, you know, to life musically, and then Life is Beautiful came out, all the stations' phones lit up, and it went #1. And so we did Crew Fest, was our only real tour we even did, and Life is Beautiful was #1. I finally got off tour, and Guns N' Roses management called me, which actually was my personal manager too, so that kind of helped. But they said, you know, Guns have been auditioning guitar players on the down low. They've been through, you know, over 100 guitar players. Would you want to come down and check it out? And I honestly never saw myself doing it. I was like, man, you know, me and Axl are both from Indiana. I met him. Sharon Osbourne introduced me when I was doing the Beautiful Creature record. They were next door doing the Chinese Democracy record. And I was like, yeah, you know, I'll go down. I'd love to see Axl again, say hi. And he wasn't there, but he caught wind that I was going to come down, and he called management and said if he even shows up, he has the gig. And that's kind of how it happened. It wasn't a real audition process, and I didn't even know that I was getting the gig, or, you know, I just want to go down and kind of say hi to everybody. And I didn't have a clue, even after I accepted and everything. I had no idea the shoes I was stepping into were pretty hardcore. That was a hardcore thing. I've never read a bad thing about me on the internet ever, you know, and it's like, you're not Slash, fuck you, and I'm like, oh shit, this is a whole different thing, you know. So I mean, that kind of blindsided me, because my head wasn't even there. I was like, I'm a fan of the band. I'm just trying to help keep that music alive, and you know, so. But you know, I finally slowly won some of them over, so it's good. Yep. Yeah. That's why you do music for a living. That's awesome. I mean, I can't tell you how, you know, none of us realized what we were creating when we created it. We knew that it was literally as true as we could possibly be to ourselves and what we've been through, and it was very much therapy for us, and getting this, you know, literally regurgitating these things we've been through, and it felt good finally. It was like, you know, but we had no idea that the amount of emails and texts and people we were going to touch with. I mean, had no idea. And which goes back to, if you're true to yourself, and it's not about trying to sell records, you're going to sell records, because you know, there's no, I don't know how else to put it. It's like, you know, if you believe in what you're doing, people will feel that. They'll see that. They'll, you know, every word you sing, if you sing it from, you know James, it's just like, I even listen to our songs and I'm like, God, I gotta leave the room. I'm gonna tear up. No, no, but it's cool stuff, and it's music is the most powerful thing in the world. It's a universal language, and you know, I've been very blessed. So, I think, yeah, me too. It's incredible. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm sorry, I wish I was better at these things. I don't know if I'm doing it.
A big hand, please, for DJ Ashba.